Afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I think that what we've heard all these past 4 days, is that we've got some committed individuals, right? We've got committed teachers, we've got committed counselors, we've got committed, of course, Jeff and Dr. Chang, committed program folks. And that's what it's really going to take. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my introductions because we've got to get to these incredible panelists who are going to share their stories with you, as well as have some of their students speak about their experiences as well. But I did want to at least say that what we're going to be talking about is what you heard earlier, which is creating the next pipeline of success for our female students, right? We want these girls to shine, and we've got these panelists are going to share with you how they have done it. And finally, I'd like to say that if you educate a girl, you change the world. And that's what we're about to do. So thank you so much. And our panelists are going to do self-introductions, do brief presentations, and then we will be taking questions from the audience. And next up, Dr. Pinpin, are you there? Let me see. Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's start. So hello, everyone. I'm Lilibeth Pinpin. I'm the Director of Innovative Programs and Student Success, and also the Girl and Girl Plus Camp Director at the Solano County Office of Education. With me presenting is one of our Girl Camp coaches, and she will also be introducing herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tani Valdor. I'm a second year at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and I'm a Girl Camp coach.
And we also have a girl camper and a girl plus camper at the same time. So we have her.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olga Vasquez. I'm an 11th grade student at Jesse Bethel High School, and I have been attending these camps regularly since 2018.
Thank you, Olga. Olga is our regular. She started off as a middle school girl camper and then moved on to the high school girl camp. So just a brief history or a description of our program. One of the mission of Solano County Office of Education is to bridge the gender gap in technology. And thanks to Dr. Cheng and UC Davis C-STEM, we were able to partner with them and provide this 5-day Girls in Robotics Leadership Camps for Solano County students. And also we serve all school districts in our county. We started off in 2017-18 school year with 2 middle school camps at the Solano Community College. Of course, it was in person, and it was so successful that the next year we offered 4. And to make sure that transportation is not a problem to our kids, we spread it all over the county. We had one at the Center for Freedom and Flight at the Vacaville location, and then we also have one at the Solano Community College Fairfield site, and another one at the Vallejo campus. And for the first time, we offered the high school girl camp or the Girl Plus camp at the Benicia Makerspace in Benicia. And the next year, we had great plans. We said we're going to offer 7, but then again, the pandemic hit. So we had to rethink, regroup our plans. But then again, we didn't want the students not to experience, the girl camp. So what we did was we piloted a virtual camp in 2020, and we only had 10 girls. And it was so successful, but it was a lot of work. We had to, of course, provide them the technology. There's a drop off and all these things. But it was so successful that for this year, we had 3. We were courageous enough to offer 3 virtual camps, 2 middle school and 1 high school camp. And thanks to all our funders, because we give this to the students for free. And these are the logos of our funders, and they're always there to support us. These are just some pictures of I'm looking at the time, making sure I'm good. These are just some pictures of our in-person camps, and you would see that we have career panelists, we have field trips, we have leadership, and also fun activities for the girls. And of course, we have some pictures of our engineers that have helped us. We also want to give you an idea of what we have been doing in the virtual camp. And of course, I've mentioned that we provide them the technology. We reduce the number of hours. We had 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and of course, we have coaching hours or office hours in the afternoon. Let me just show you this video, but I'm not going to show the whole thing for purposes of time. Our camp is divided into 3. One, we're going to have the coding robotics part. Second, the leadership part. And third, of course, the video production.
I knew I wanted to be a STEM major because my favorite classes were always the science classes and they were always the math classes. And I knew I wanted to go into research because I love learning and I wanted to be a part of like the next innovation.
We're going to be using 3 programs mainly. We're going to be using LinkBot Labs, which I'll show you in a second, Chide, and then RoboBlockly. So first, we're going to connect this ball piece to the back of the LinkBot.
Okay, so we're going to do a little prototyping activity. So prototyping is basically coming up.
All right, so, and I have my coaches, one of our coaches and my student who would be sharing their experience briefly. Tamia, you can start.
Yeah, being a part of this program has been incredibly rewarding. You can see the girls getting inspired, just typing in a program and then running it, and then like seeing it work, they get really inspired, their eyes light up. And I just think that this program is really important to bridge the gender gap in the STEM field. And yeah.
All right, Olga.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with Tamia. I think that the camps are really important to sort of inspire more young women to go into STEM related careers. And for example, for me, I think that programming and robotics has really helped me, especially in other extracurriculars that I pursue. It's helped me develop resilience and perseverance, and it's helped with creativity, resourcefulness, and also thinking outside of the box. And I think it was really cool because it got me comfortable with being uncomfortable, which I think is needed, especially in STEM careers, because they are pretty challenging. So I think it's really prepared me well for that.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. And that's the end of our presentation.
Shauna?
Yep, I'm coming. I've had to find the unmute button. So let me share my screen and we can go from there. And what I'd really like to tell you is that I so agree with so many things that I've heard over the last few days. I love coming to this conference because, these are my people who have pushed hard and done what they could do, and it's amazing. So Mount Diablo is a school district of approximately 30,000 students in the East Bay area, and they don't have very much as far as robotics, or there's pockets of STEM around, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So when I've worked with the school district personnel, we've really wanted to focus on giving the students skills, workforce skills, excitement, innovation, opportunity for creation, and also to have partnerships that aren't just with school district to students, but I said that wrong, school district to corporations, but also corporations and students, so that there's starting to be a real world connection to what we're doing. So my name is Shauna. I'm a teacher at Valley View Middle School. I'm actually out right now because I broke my femur on October 20th. So I'm doing everything from home right now. I actually am blessed enough to get to mentor the robotics programs throughout our district, meaning both the middle school and high school. I work with writing grants and things like that. Okay, so we started the first girl camp in 2015, and I think we might have been the first girl camp outside of Davis. And you know, this girl right here, she was also a camper at Davis, and she would come down and stay with us. And so she was our coach those first couple of years, and she went to Worcester Polytech. So that's really fun to have that connection. That whole first year, while we were doing the 20 girls, all I had in mind is we could make this so much bigger. So immediately we started planning ahead for what we called our Girl Camp Summit. So since 2016, so 16, 17, 18, and 19, we had approximately 60 girls in one of our camps, but we had a struggle that we couldn't get 2 of our Title I schools on board. And so we ended up offering a camp specifically at Title I schools. And so we would have this, and they're all invited. Everybody in the area is invited to join us. But there's a hill, and sometimes a hill is enough to make people not want to participate. So anyway, so we bus these kids to where they need to go, or we take them to go to DVC. We do all these things because it is about the kids. And I have to say that of all the kids we need to serve, we have to give opportunities for learning to every one of our girls. I thought this was kind of a cute picture because it kind of showed you the little of the diversity of our students. I am so happy to tell you that we've had a really diverse population, both in our students and in our teachers and coaches, which is fun. If you look at this big picture, you wouldn't be able to tell because the sun's in everybody's eyes, but it's really cool to have a diverse group. But beyond all that, I want to turn this over to my darling Angela. And I would like Angela to tell you a little bit about herself and her journey that's brought her here.
So yeah, hi, my name is Angie. I am a student at Diablo Valley Community College. Our district sounds so similar to my college. And I am majoring in psychology and computer science. I used to go to Valley View, and I was part of Miss Hawes's robotics club in my 8th grade. And then in high school, I joined the robotics club there, and we were called Falcon X Robotics. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, okay. So yeah, I started off doing LinkBots in 8th grade, and that was when I was first fascinated with the idea of robotics and programming. And actually, right next to Miss Hawes's computer lab was the wood shop where the high schoolers would work on their robot. And I would always take a peek through the window to see what they're up to, and I was always just so curious and fascinated by the idea of like one day I'll be able to do that. So then when I finally went into College Park, I joined the robotics team, and then from there it was just like it just felt like I finally figured it out. We have 2 divisions. We have a mechanical and a business division, and the first year I was in the mechanical. And so what we had to do was that we were part of this big competition called First Robotics Competition. And every year we had a limited amount of time to build a robot to complete a certain set of tech challenges. And then after a certain amount of time, we would go to these tournaments and compete in these tournaments to have a chance to go to Houston, Texas for championships. And that was what everyone wanted to do. So we went to a lot of different tournaments, such as the one in Sacramento and San Francisco. It might be pretty familiar because we actually went to one at UC Davis, which was really cool. But from there, throughout this whole experience of robotics, I learned a lot of things that I never thought I would learn in, like, if I never was a part of high school, such as leadership skills, communication, teamwork, thinking outside of the box. And I really owe it to robotics for who I am today. oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna mention the outreach part because that was the one I really liked.
Mention it. It's okay.
Okay, so if we go back real quick, there is this we hope to do more of this in the future too. Although I'm not in the high school robotics anymore, I hope they continue doing this. But one of my most favorite things that we ever done so far was when we partnered up with GPI US, which is like a organization to help girls all over the world learn STEM. And we got to work with this with an all-girls Japanese school. So they came over here and we got to interact with them and help them try to challenge some world problems like homelessness and pollution and traffic. And I thought that, you know, what was really cool was that despite the language barrier we had, we were still able to have such a really productive conversation. Yeah, that was
Awesome, Angela. Thank you. And I will stop sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, Dr. Muntafa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my screen just fine?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you so much.
It's small to me. I don't know why. Is it just me?
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Are you not seeing the full screen?
I wasn't seeing a full screen, but maybe, is it me?
Okay, let's try that.
Okay, there you go.
How about now? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here today to round out this amazing conference. So much of what's been said already has been a great segue into my presentation today. And so I'm going to be reading my script to try to be efficient and not hold you up from the rest of your evening. I am Fahima Mustafa. I'm an assistant professor of education at UC Davis and the Ujima Girl Plus co-principal investigator with Dr. Chang. I'm also a former middle school science teacher, and I currently focus my research and teaching on supporting the academic, socio-emotional, and holistic well-being of Black and other youth experiencing historical marginalization. So many of you have read about, heard about, or played an active role in bringing the Ujima Girl Plus project to fruition. Today, I'm excited to share a little bit more about where we are headed with a particular focus on our plan to apply sound theory and practice around cultural relevance to forward our vision of equitable and inclusive participation in STEM for Black girls and women. So briefly, I want to thank all of you for your presence and work and acknowledge the National Science Foundation, which awarded our team $2.4 million to do this work. And of course, Dr. Chang and the rest of the supportive CSTEM community, including our panelists today. We truly believe that with our collective support and resources, we will directly impact over 2,000 Black girls and young women over the next 3 years of Ujima Girl Plus implementation. Like the existing Girl Plus camps, the Ujima project includes an intensive summer component where girls will engage in hands-on robotics learning. And during this first summer, we'll partner with 8 different sites. But in addition, as part of the systemic effort to broaden participation, Ujima students will be encouraged and supported to assume leadership roles during the school year, such as through the creation of school-based clubs. And with our NSF grant and your collaboration, we are really excited about collecting a lot of data and tracking participants over time. Lastly, I'll note that my graduate students have reviewed over 140 research articles, 23 different California-based STEM programs for girls, and more than 30 programs in the broader US and world to search for evidence of the long-term impact for expanding STEM career access for girls and women. There are quite a few innovative K-12 programs occurring, which you all may know. But unfortunately, there's very little large-scale data about the long-term impact on young women's STEM trajectories in high school, college, and beyond. So we have an opportunity with Ujima to make a strong contribution in ways that impact future STEM education research and practice. So as many of you know, STEM degree attainment among women in the US has increased, albeit probably too slowly, over the past 3 decades. However, Black women remain among the most underrepresented, especially in the physical sciences. This representation gap only widens as we proceed up the education and career ladders. Second, from early ages, Black girls uniquely experience multiple forms of educational marginalization that have a long-term impact on their STEM trajectories. On the next couple of slides, I will share research to further illuminate this point. And lastly, research shows the benefits of learning environments where individuals can be their authentic selves and have their identities and community knowledge and assets affirmed among others who holistically understand their lived experiences. Such culturally relevant learning environments have been shown to increase Black girls' engagement and performance in STEM. Now I'm going to share the results of a few rigorous studies that further highlight the unique educational experiences of Black girls. The first is a pair of studies I co-conducted with Dr. Rhonda Carter, who is a developmental psychologist who studies how girls' pubertal development impacts their experiences with peers and adults. In summary, our research showed that elementary school teachers, 91% of whom were women and 84% who were white, were shown images and read vignettes about 4th grade girls with academic or behavioral challenges. What the teachers didn't know in this experimental study was that while the challenges presented in the vignettes were the same, we changed the accompanying images they saw with girls of different races and physical development, as shown on the slide here. Across the 2 studies, we found that elementary teachers held more consistently lower expectations for future academic achievement and behavior than their expectations for Black girls than their expectations for identical white girls. Moreover, there was an even more negative trend toward their expectations for Black 4th grade girls like Erica shown here, who appeared to physically develop earlier. Another recent study by Francis and colleagues showed that when given identical transcripts with different names, one a stereotypical Black girl name and another with a stereotypically white girl name, school counselors were significantly less likely to recommend the Black girl for calculus. Moreover, although the Black and white girls' math prerequisites and all the other courses on the transcripts were exactly the same, the counselors rated the Black girl as less prepared to take AP calculus. The findings from these studies and many others highlight how unconscious biases often uniquely impact Black girls' STEM trajectories in ways that are often invisible. Now, I want to wrap up by sharing this encouraging reminder from distinguished professor of education, Dr. Gloria Ladson-Billings. As many of you know, her pioneering work led to the widespread use of the term culturally relevant pedagogy. Here, Dr. Ladson-Billings is reminding us that this isn't about just hiring more Black teachers, many of whom may already come prepared with high expectations for Black students. Her work with 5 Black and white teachers showed us that everyone can support Black students in ways that allow them to excel while maintaining a positive sense of their identities and culture. But this work takes much more than believing. It requires active, sustained, and often challenging work to deliver STEM education in culturally relevant ways. The Ujima leadership team is very excited to be hiring a program manager very soon who will have the expertise needed to help execute the culturally relevant adaptations and extensions of CSTEM's Girl Grow Plus. First, over time, we will update the curriculum in ways that are particularly relevant and engaging to Black girls and young women. Any challenges will be informed by our collective expertise and ongoing research. But cultural relevance is about more than symbolic multiculturalism, such as adding images of Black girls and women in the curriculum without considering who is implementing the curriculum and how. We will use an implementation strategy that involves Black girls and women at all levels, and will develop training for coaches that considers nuances of culture and Black girls' lived experiences. Lastly, as I mentioned before, an important part of this project is collecting data. Specifically, more than test scores and grades as outcomes, we need more social science research on the intricate social dynamics of Ujima and other STEM education efforts. In our study, we will assess the hows and whys using surveys, observations, and interviews. And we will also study the experiences of Black women Ujima Girl Plus coaches, not just the campers, because they too represent the next generation of STEM industry professionals and STEM educators like many of you. In a minute, I'll place the link to a Google Doc with all the references from today's presentation in the chat. I want to thank you for your attention and support, and we really look forward to continuing to work together so that our future STEM workforce maximizes innovation through full and equitable inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for your presentation. I'm about ready to drop the mic. That was incredible. We do have a Q&A that came through, and I'm wondering if Dr. Penn, are you answering that question? It's kind of specific to Solano County.
Actually, yes. I was starting to respond to, but I was mesmerized by Dr. Fahima, so I didn't finish answering, but I could respond to it.
Yeah, it's up to you. I think that it's might be we're just about out of time, but so you can answer that online if you like. But I guess I am kind of interested in hearing from you. Why do we believe that we need to focus on Black girls in STEM at this time? Any of the panelists like to answer that question?
I can give someone else a chance to chime in.
We want to hear from you again, Dr. Fahima.
Yes, there's so much that I could say about this. I believe, there's a quote about lifting tides raises all boats, but that really takes a lot of collective effort. So we haven't seen strong efforts over time of increasing the participation of women in STEM that has significantly closed the representation gap for Black girls and women. And so I'm really excited that we have this support from the NSF and the infrastructure of CSTEM and all of your support and partnerships to really try to make accelerated progress to make sure that as STEM attainment goes up for women and girls in general, that no one is left behind.